This is a fan topic, guys.
Ooh,
and
yes,
it's by
thank you.
Rolex 311. Cool name.
Rolex,
All right,
311?
Rolex? You mean Rolex 311?
I mean, I can't afford that. Somebody who picked it up the other day, he's like, I got a Rolex, dude.
Dang.
You got flexed on the Rolex the other day.
I'm in the Rolex club now.
But all right, this topic is, what's something you're excited to collect now that were too cool or hated back then?
So I can put this away.
Yeah, you can put it away. Hand it out over
I was like,
to me.
agree.
That's why I said it's a fan topic.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna have to pull out my notes for this one. I wrote notes on this one because I couldn't. Ricky, I know you said had one.
Oh, yeah. So for me, I guess when I was a kid, it wasn't really cool to collect toys. So I'm really into the hype of the Transformers and all that. 'Cause, dude, I love Transformers, Voltron, all that stuff. When I was a kid, all the people in my neighborhood, they thought that was dorky.
Oh,
But there weren't like where I grew up, no one collected that kind of stuff. There was barely gamers.
I didn't think about that. It's a very situational to where you grew up.
Yeah, because dude, it wasn't like I watched the show, but I never.
Now we're going to be breaking Curtis's equipment. Chris, I told you not to play with that stuff.
Dang.
That'll be $20. No, I didn't think about that though. Where you live is because you grew up, I wouldn't say hood, but not super nice.
It's pretty hood.
Yeah, pretty hood. You had 2 drive-bys. I'll say it's pretty hood.
And dead body next to my backyard. I saw it.
You know what's funny? As a joke, I literally, when it's said, what do you collect now? I put dead bodies. That's literally what I wrote down that I never collected as a kid. Dark humor.
Dark humor.
Part of my life.
Come on, guys.
Yeah, come on, guys, grow up.
So, I mean, like with Transformers, do you think that they're like, is it the older ones that you think that are
Older
actually
ones.
getting
All the
collectible?
older ones. I even started collecting like the Hasbro wrestlers. That one of my buddies used to collect it, so that's why I want it. But it was like he was a lot younger than me, so I was kind of like the older kid of the neighborhood, and I was like, "Dang, that's cool," but I can't collect it because I'm too old. But now I have like, dude, I have a lot of them.
I think what you have now that probably wasn't as collectible before was your wrestling stuff.
Dude, wrestling stuff's pretty legit.
That seems like it's a growing thing right now. Like it's just a trend that people are hitting with it.
Yeah,
It is weird to think about those things that you grew up with that were cool, but became cool when you were just a little too old.
That's one for me that was Pokemon cards.
Yep.
Like
So
they
you
came out.
just were a little too old.
I was a little bit too old for them. They came out in 99, right? I'm a senior in high school in 1999. Like if you were playing with Pokemon cards as a senior in high school,
Like, come on, bro.
come on. Ready to go to
What are you,
college.
Curtis?
but now, like I'm not a huge collector of Pokemon cards, but I appreciate them. I know them. I go through them all the time, of course, through my shops. I do collect Snorlax Pokemon cards. I like Snorlax
thing.
a
Nice.
lot. So I have kind of a collection of Snorlax. If you told high school, 1999 me that I would be collecting Pokemon cards, I'd be like, get out of here. That was it was so little kiddie for
Yeah.
I was expecting you to say Godzilla.
Godzilla's always been awesome. I don't think it's never
I don't
not
know.
been
I mean, I feel like it just got this like recently. It's been getting the super hype.
I do like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the first series of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but it's one of those things where when at the time of it coming out, I did remember kind of like having to closet it a little bit. Because I remember like mentioning it to a couple people and everyone was kind of like, And I was like, oh, back down. Like, don't. Like, I would never, bro. I was just checking out the Yellow Ranger and the Pink Ranger, bro. Like, come on,
Pink Ranger.
Yeah, that's so terrible.
Oh, yeah, the Yellow
I
Ranger.
don't watch that.
When I wrote down this topic initially, my first response was, it was weird, something that I was always like quiet about, but now I don't care. And it's not even collecting. It's just something that I liked. I would always listen to like Mariah Carey and like love songs and like romantic, like Boys to Men. But I never would talk about it back then for anything. But I'm not saying like, oh, I liked it. Like I would close the door and like do a whole like song. Like I had a girlfriend in 6th grade. Analia Ramirez, if you still exist, hello. That's all I remember is that was her name. 6th grade. But I remember I would like belt these songs out in my room, like door closed. But like the minute my brothers come around, even though I know they were into it too, I was like, what's up, bro? What's up, bro? What's up, dog? But in my brain, but now like I don't care. I admit, like I have a huge soft spot for like crooner music. Like I love Sinatra. I love Andrea Bocelli. Like that type of music.
Charlie's good.
Did you used to burn CDs?
Oh, did I burn CDs, bro?
Dude.
Call me LimeWire King, bro.
Dude,
That was my house.
Yeah,
LimeWire
Ricky's
was
house,
that.
bro.
My house, we burn all the CDs.
I remember when CDs were like where I would put them in my pocket, and then you'd start running, and then the disc would skip,
Oh yeah,
and you're like, "No, I was on a good part of the song."
yeah. The walk right when the chorus is about to drop. Gung, 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 gung.
You remember I had to get the ghetto little Honda? I had the little tape attachment, but with a CD player.
Don't you still have that in your car?
Yeah, I had that in my first car.
Ricky always has like weird contraptions to listen to music in his car. Always.
I really do. I like to stay behind the times.
Ricky's definitely behind the times.
On my 1991 Corolla, I had that same thing where you had to put the tape in and it became an aux cord.
Yeah, dude,
Dude,
best.
That's
you were
this
a
guy.
baller. You were a
Yes.
baller if you had an aux cord.
Until
back
you
in
hit a
the day.
pothole.
I think another thing that like would be collectible that I didn't like back then was Yu-Gi-Oh. But I like it now.
Oh, I never got into it.
Man, I felt like such a nerd because it was like just outside of Magic and it was just outside of Pokemon a little bit, but it was like its own little niche.
Yeah.
And I grew up like, I was like, dude, you gotta have the Blue Eye Steel Dragon. You gotta have like every single dragon possible. And then it was like, you have to have the complete Mayan. Everything about it was just like dope for me.
What is the ultimate nerd thing?
We collect the ultimate nerd thing.
Don't say
I can tell you right now what it is.
Don't say
The
that.
shirts, like the vintage shirts, like the over the top.
I'm talking not value. I'm talking like, and we're all nerds here.
Yes.
What's like the thing when you see, you're like, man, that guy is a nerd.
I
Let's
would
be real,
say-
it's okay.
I would say Dungeons and Dragons.
No!
Chris is into it now.
Ultimate nerd over here. That's the one. Even when I was younger, that it was like, oh, you do what? Dungeons and Dragons? Whoa, you're over there, man. That's like a whole different
So
crowd.
you
of
say
nerds.
D&D.
Yeah.
But I would say back then it was. Now it's getting a lot of more popularity. It is. Okay, with Baldur's
Chris just scooted over, by the way, for those who couldn't see.
No, and listen, if you're into that,
That's awesome.
It's your thing, and I appreciate it. The more I've learned about it, I'm more like, oh, that's pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah.
I just when I was younger, I remember that being kind of like your Power Rangers story, where it was
Yeah,
like,
oh, don't.
oh, Dungeons and Dragons,
Yep.
like, but. So no offense to
No,
that.
no offense taken. Don't worry. You can literally joke about anything. I wouldn't care. I'm just doing my first campaign with some friends. I just wanted to try it out and see what happens. But basically, it's like role play.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm not ready for. Like, I have to be something else than I'm not used to. But I think
Like role play, like you're
Like,
a character.
yeah, so your interactions after something, right? Like if you roll a certain way and your character has to react to that situation, it can be a different outcome for you. And
Wait, do you have to like speak like in like a weird tongue or something?
no.
They
So
should
like
just
you
change
can
the
have
things.
an accent. So like you're basically acting. That's
Do you
basically
dress
what it
up,
is.
Curtis? Do
I
you-
am
do you
definitely gonna
up?
dress up like a nerd for sure. I'm gonna become one of
So
those
nothing
guys.
changes.
That's awesome. So I honestly didn't even know much about it. I like if you asked me what do you do with that? I didn't know that's what you
Yeah,
do.
so I mean, what's cool with what I'm doing with my friends is they have like, obviously they have the in-game board style, right? But now they have these like on the internet, they create maps for you, so your team can go on this map, and everything is pretty much digitally for you. Like you can roll a certain advantage or disadvantage, or whatever it is, and that's based on like what you can do,
Dude, that sounds fun.
dude. Hey, it's like, so I love that because like the reason why it's getting so much traction is because a game that just came like out like maybe last year and is game of the year is Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
Right?
I actually have like some of the D&D games. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, the games are great.
Yeah, so Baldur's Gate 3 is kind of like what's helping it take off because people are getting into those situational things. They're like, oh, okay, like how could I do this like Dungeons and Dragons? It's just like that. But with the other one is like you can create characters and do your own storyline and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, some of these things I've kind of wanted to go back. Like even Magic back in the day was considered pretty nerdy when I was growing up, along with Dungeons and Dragons. But when you describe that, honestly, I'm kind of like, well, I'd like to check that out.
I'm
And
going
the
to.
guys with my store have been like, hey, we're going to play some Magic. Do you want to do it? And I'm like, I've never played Magic, but I kind of want to go check it out now. I'm like, I'm open to checking it out.
It's interesting how tastes can change like that. You know, like for me, I always considered like people into like real-time strategy games. Like,
yeah.
oh man, those are in my
I
head.
love
So-
real-time
But then I
strategy.
fell in love with Mario Rabbids and beat it, and got the DLC and beat it.
That's an RTS?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
So
Turn-based
I feel the
RTS.
same way about Dungeons and Dragons, like how I feel about RPGs, right?
Got it.
I kind of felt that way about it as well. Like I didn't give it a fair chance. Me and Ben were talking about it, and we were like, bro, we really just kind of disregard RPGs altogether.
Yeah.
because we all grew up on like cool platformers, like the next cool
the
thing.
cool kids are playing platforms.
But now it's like
Contra.
you want something different, and then it's like you have other people who are interested in it. You just want to give it a try.
Yeah,
that was considered pretty nerdy back in the day too. I'm an RPG guy, and if I had friends over and I was like, "Oh yeah, you want to play like this game?" and they'd be like, "What? What is that? Like, let's play Mario or let's play whatever." Like the RPG stuff is a totally different category, along with the RTS stuff, which I love that too.
Yeah.
It is a different, whole different realm.
You know what we should all do? We should go LARPing.
LARPing?
I think that would be fun, dude.
Role models, dude.
I am down. Yes.
Dude, role models look so
you know
sick.
LARPing?
No.
Like
you
it's like
dress up
you
like
dress up
Renaissance
like
people.
knights and stuff, and you guys just go ham.
Oh, like the Renaissance Fair stuff?
Yeah.
I
kind of like
love
that.
that
dude,
stuff.
that sounds so fun.
Back in the day, I was like,
I love that.
made fun of, but now I like watching. Like, dude,
I've been to a few
looks fun.
Renaissance fairs. I've never dressed up, but I appreciate the people that do that. I'm like, I could probably totally get
dude,
into
you'd
this.
be a good character. I'm not
I
gonna
wanna
lie,
be
with the
a
beard
black-
and the hair.
The Black Knight. I want to be dark.
You wish, bro. You wish, bro. You giggle up.
You see Chris just go shirtless. He's just like
Oh, I would not wear a shirt if I was LARPing either. I'd be
he would be lucky if he wasn't.
Blankosaurus is what I want to be.
You would
He'd
make
be-
a good dwarf, man. You would be a good dwarf.
A little Gimli. I'd be a little Gimli.
What would Ricky be a good? I'm trying to think. What would
An
Ricky?
orc.
I would be in a good
Oh my
orc.
gosh!
Dang.
What about Ben? Ben would be like the beef
wizard.
warrior.
I know what Ben is. Ben's the blacksmith. He's the guy.
Oh
yeah.
He's the guy with the
What
hammer.
about me? Chris would be an archer.
I could see you being a mage, like a wizard.
I think you said a maid. I was
No,
like,
like a mage. No, not a mage.
He's like, pass that one to Ricky.
like a wench. No, like a mage. You have powers.
got it. Like
Yeah.
magical. Okay, I
Magical.
like that. That's
Yeah.
fun. All right, let's go LARPing, dude. That's so fun right now.
Like, I mean, like LARPing is almost the same thing as D&D, but you just don't move around.
Yeah.
So like that's why I liked it. But another thing that I thought was nerdy when I was getting like my generation was World of Warcraft people.
Oh yeah, that's my brother.
Yeah, the people that would be at their desk all day, like
Yeah.
the South Park one where it had the World of the Warcraft
Classic. It's like the most classic.
guy.
meme.
That's the depiction of like, oh, that guy's nerd as could be.
True. I think that probably was the depiction of nerd for many years, at least like in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
That was kind of, and I knew a lot of people. My old boss sold one of his like accounts for like 60 grand or something.
Really?
Because he just was grinding 24/7 on that.
What?
Wow.
Dang.
Yep.
Yeah, there's actually it's funny because CS:GO 2, they have this thing where it's like a gamble system.
Okay.
And when you gamble, you can get like certain skins. And those skins, based on what you get, can be worth money. And some are worth 1,000, 4,000. A guy got another one was 20,000. And I was like, dude, that's actually kind of nuts. Like
Do you
can
play
make
World
it,
of Warcraft?
Huh?
You into it? You play?
Heck no, I'm not into
No?
that. No, I think I've just totally fought it off as that. That's the nerd game I'm never touching.
Push it out of your system.
Yeah, like I'm just like that. I've always had that. I know all gamers come in all shapes and sizes. I am the size of a beast, but I just know that World of Warcraft just never interested me because I didn't want to get into that stigma.
I just can't get out of my head how bad I want us all dressed up as Larpy. I literally, while you were talking, I was just picturing you like with a spike helmet with like a big axe, like.
I have
like
a feeling Riff's gonna do AI later. He's just gonna get us all together and do
That's not
something.
a
I
bad
would do
idea.
that. That'd be fun. There's some pretty good Renaissance fairs around here
we
too.
have to do one. Actually.
Yeah,
Dude,
I'd
Chris,
be down for that.
Chris invited me to this like cool spot.
Thanks for the invite, Chris.
He literally called me. He's like,
Just
"Hey
kidding.
man, you busy?" And I was like, "I was with Ben, and we were doing stuff with the podcast." And he was at a vintage computer spot.
Oh,
that was cool.
is- and I went to that. It was the VCF, which is Vintage Computer Festival.
that's right. You told us
SoCal.
about that.
And that was an amazing festival. But I will say, first of all, the guys there were amazing. Had an awesome time. I took my son to it. But when you look at early like computer programmers, that certainly is like its own genre
Oh,
of like
Yes.
call it nerdiness or whatever.
Yeah,
but that, I mean,
totally.
and rightfully so. Like those guys wwere diehard computer programmers.
So that's like what you would call back in the day that the derogatory term was like a Poindexter.
Kind of, yeah.
Right? Like the glasses, the very, like, I think that was the, I mean, that was the thing. That was Conan O'Brien. You know, that's what he did.
I've always been appreciative of that crowd, and we're trying to coordinate with them to have them at
That'd be
SoCal with the
so
presence
sick.
too. The reason I'm appreciative of that crowd is because they really are the beginnings, those early computers and the developers of everything we play
Yeah.
now. Like it had to go through, of course, Pong, and then all the stuff that came
Yep.
from that up to what we're at now.
Oregon Trail
So-
Bomberman.
Which one?
Yeah.
Oregon Trail Bomberman on the
Oh
Mac.
god, those are incredible.
So
I used to
good.
go to the library all the
Hey
time.
Ben,
and
how
play.
many Oregon Trail hand consoles do you own?
I don't know what you're talking about.
No way. Really?
Oh yeah, he has
Yeah,
like
he has-
50
Yeah,
of them.
you want to buy some?
I would
plethora.
love to play them.
Not what you're trying to make me pay.
You're a collector of Oregon Trail handhelds?
No.
No, I just
Order.
He's a baker.
Order.
I just bought it to flip eventually.
but never
That's a reseller of Oregon Trail.
Only.
handhelds.
Dude, I got it for $10 at Target each, and now they go for like
Oh, they're all the
45,
same
50
one.
bucks.
I thought they were like different variations of
$10.
it.
Easy there, Chicago. Sheboygan. What's that from?
Sheboygan. Oh,
Come on.
Oh,
Sheboygan.
God.
Who's gonna get it first?
Not Curtis.
Sheboygan. I'm dying.
Home Alone.
Oh, dang it.
Dang.
John
man.
Candy. Sheboygan.
Sheboygan.
Oh man, this is such a cool vibe, man. I really like this. Like it's very loose or chilling.
Oh, dude, yeah. This studio right now. For those who have catched this episode and not the other one, this is our podcast
This
studio.
is
now.
it, man.
This is it. We're at my house, just chilling.
And just a reminder, guys, I'm going to tell you right now, SoCal Gaming Expo is June 8th and June 9th of this year. Tetris World Championships through 7th through the 9th. And it's going to be in Pasadena.
Just freaking
It is
Blue
coming
Scooty
up.
is officially coming. Blue
Blue
Scooty,
Scooty,
the kid who broke it.
Sonic
You
Voice is just announced.
You showed me some awesome announcements that maybe will be out by the time this
John
comes out.
St.
but
John, Jill Valentine
yeah,
will be
some
there.
really good guests.
Silver the Hedgehog, Sonic the Hedgehog, and a ton. We can say it now. We officially have bought the Ninja Turtle half pipe. We were talking about it before. Maybe
Oh.
we bought it. It's ours. It is the one from the Paramount Studios premiere. And on top of that, we've hired 3 pros from Birdhouse, including Jaws. Not like, oh, random pros. No, 3 pro skateboarders on the main pro team. Tony Hawk's team of Birdhouse will be there, including Jaws. So
Don't miss it, guys.
There's a lot happening, dude.
Get your tickets. It's in the description. I'm telling you.